about the Royal Caribbean Seaplex.
The Seaplex, the best thing on what we think is probably one of the best things, particularly on Royal Caribbean ships that visit Australia, the Quantum class ships. This thing's magnificent.
We keep referencing it to a PCYC, your youth clubs. It is the size of one of those.
Yeah, it's a huge community centre at sea that keeps the whole family active.
Yeah,
really.
pretty much.
There's always activities there for all ages. Hey Deb.
Hey Matt.
Do you know what the one bit of advice is that I always give new cruisers?
Okay.
They should seize the day. Okay, so we've started unpacking the first bag. We were waiting for the second one, just chilling out in the room for a little while, and got a phone call. And because we were starting to wonder where our second bag was, got a phone call. Apparently, we have a forbidden item that's been detected in our bag. But it is the 8th night on this cruise, and we are here to have some fun on Carnival of the Seas with bumper cars. Check this out. How cool is this? You get to do bumper cars while you're at sea.
Alright, let's have a look at the bathroom. I like the royal bathrooms.
I love the royal bathrooms.
Why do you love the royal bathrooms?
Because you don't have shower curtains.
Matt is not a fan of the shower curtains.
Okay, so that's step 4 on how to get to your food on your first day, and 5 steps for first-time cruisers.
That's a lot of mouthful.
That is a lot of mouthful. So now we're heading off to the lifts at the rear of the ship, because that's where you want to get to Windjammer. That's the best way to get your food quick and easy on day 1 for first-time cruisers. So rear of the ship we go. We are up on the Lido deck. It is the New Year's Eve party about to kick off. It's going to be a cracker night. Hey Deb.
Hey Matt.
What did one ocean say to the other?
What?
Nothing. They just waved.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Hello everyone, it is Wednesday night.
Good evening.
It means we're here to chat about the life of cruising.
Yes, indeed. And tonight's our are exciting or maybe not so exciting for some people regarding all the things new and changed in Carnival.
Yeah, the Carnival Rewards program. So we are going to get into some hellos first, as we always do.
100%.
But to start with, let's say hello to some special guests that we've got joining us tonight. First up, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Adrian, the cruise travel guy.
How's that for an intro, Adrian?
I couldn't have asked for anything better.
I know,
How are you
right?
guys going?
Very well, mate. Very well.
Really good, mate. Really good.
How's things down in Sydney? Is it chilly down there at the moment?
It is windy and chilly, but otherwise not too bad.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it's quite windy here today too in Brisbane.
Yep. And we've got somebody that's even chillier, but always warms up the space. It's Amy from the Cruise Crazed Fam.
Hi. Got my blanket, got my hoodie. I just took the puffer jacket off, but yes, it's very
Oh,
cold. here.
jacket. Oh my gosh.
Everyone
No
lives
doubt it
in
is.
puffer jackets for 3-4 months every winter here.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Let's
So
scroll
we'll
back
get-
up and have
Hi,
a look
Brian.
at some hellos.
Get into some hellos from the chat.
I'm very bright.
So, hi Wade. You were
Also,
in there nice and early.
he was indeed. Now, just quickly before we do continue, though, I will just say, guys, we are going to implement a few little chat rules tonight. We don't normally do this. Everyone's generally well behaved, but tonight's topic obviously has been a bit of an emotive one. So just based on that reminder, please be polite, be respectful, challenge the idea, not the person in the live chat, and also no swearing on this one, because once people start to swear, things can easily get carried away when it's an emotive topic like this. So please just keep that in mind. We will be monitoring the chat. We don't want to have to put anyone in timeout.
Such a dad.
I know. Got to do it. Rob and Al are in the chat as well.
Hey,
G'day, guys. And we've got Anita.
Hey,
hello.
Anita.
JJ's here from the sunny
Yeah.
coast. We've got Janice as well. The Netflix series video that's on. So there's a new series for those that don't know, or there is a series on Netflix for those that don't know called Trainwreck. The current video is Trainwreck Poop Cruise, and it's all about the disastrous cruise that was on Carnival Triumph a few years back, and the fire.
Even
on
I
board.
don't know. I'm going to jump on and have a
Yeah,
look at this.
go and have a look. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
Going back to 2013, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
wow.
Quite a while back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they ended up losing all power and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah, 5 days.
4-day
Works.
cruise turned into an 8-day cruise because they were stranded at sea. No power
Yeah.
for 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great.
So Adrian's here, obviously. We know that. Robin L said hi to Adrian.
Hi,
Veronica,
Robin.
hello,
Hey, Nate and
hello.
V.
We've got Nate and V
Nice
on
to see
board.
you guys. Hey, Joe.
Joe's here as well. Celia, I think.
Scylla.
Scylla, sorry. Yes. I think we all know Scylla.
Yes, we do.
I think we've all met
Yes.
Scylla. Have we all met Scylla? Yeah.
Yeah, I have. Don't know if
I don't think
Adrian.
I've met Sela. We've spoken on Facebook, some
Yes.
messages and comments.
Yeah, always around in the cruise community, very active there. We've got
Hey,
Ron
Nice to see you back.
and Jason's here. G'day, Jason. And Kim. And the other legend, Peter from Cruise Crazed Fam. G'day, Pete. How are you, mate?
Babysitting
Hey,
duties out there.
And we've got Linda
Hey,
is
Linda.
here as well.
I saw your comment today. I will respond to that one about your white. I cannot believe you don't have white in your wardrobe.
What?
Anyway, that's a whole other
Really,
thing.
How do you do white night with white in the wardrobe? G'day, Kaz.
Hey.
Where are we at? We've got Linda C's here as well.
Hey, Linda.
And
Nicola.
Nicola is here from Canberra.
Good evening. You must be cold.
That would be cold there. Difficult to cruise in Canberra too, but Sydney's not too far away. Got Sean from Down Under Cruises
Hey,
on
Dax.
board. We've got Katrina. as well, and the Cruising Tea Ladies.
Hi, Jodie and Sharon.
Yeah,
good to see you guys.
Back from their recent cruise as well. So,
Hi,
alrighty.
and Tina.
Yeah, did I not get Tina? I think I got Tina.
I don't know. But hey, Tina, nice to see you.
Yeah, Tina's there too. All right. So, guys, Adrian and Amy, you guys have both covered this already a little bit in some videos. The changes to the Carnival loyalty program. It's no longer a loyalty program. It's a rewards program. Adrian, did you want to kick off maybe with a little bit of an overview, I guess?
Yeah, sure. Basically, as you all know by now, Carnival has decided to completely uproot what it had as its loyalty program. So for those of you that have cruised Carnival quite often, you'll be sort of paying the biggest price in a way, because your loyalty, whatever you have built up, will vanish in 3 years' time, I believe. So in 1 year, this new program will begin, and then your loyalty status, whatever you've locked in by the 31st of May next year, will be yours for 2 years. But after that 2-year period, it will be gone if you don't sail with the cruise line again and again and again and again. And as a lot of people have said, spend thousands upon thousands of dollars in the process to establish and maintain your status. So interesting times for Carnival lovers, that's for sure.
Sure is.
Sure is indeed. I think, oh, hang on, what have I done to my layout here?
I don't know.
We were all equals. There we go. Let's try this. I think
Equal again. Thank you for that.
still learning to drive. So it really is interesting, isn't it? That it's a big shift from the traditional loyalty program to more of an awards style program. But then there's this loyalty component that's based on your dollar spend as well now.
I think
Amy,
in essence Amy,
no, you're right, you go.
I was just going to say, in essence, the biggest change is that what we're seeing now is the reacclimation of a loyalty program that is being aligned with the airline loyalty program system. And I think that's something that I brought up in my video, that I just don't see how airlines and cruise lines can share a similar system when it comes to loyalty, because spending time on a plane is very different to spending time on a cruise. You know, going from here to Brisbane or here to New York, wherever it is a flight. It's A to B. But when you're spending time on a cruise, it's because you have a passion for something that runs deeper than sitting in a seat for 3 hours or 20 hours. You're spending up to weeks sometimes enjoying a cruise with family, with friends, making family, making friends, not making family, with your family, making friends. And
well, some are making families on this.
That's true. Actually, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. That's very true. But yeah, it's just different. Like, we're talking about something that is closely connected with people, and to kind of eliminate that aspect of cruising loyalty and replace it instead with effectively a reward for spending more money than someone else, kind of changes the feel of it a lot. And I'm just hopeful that other cruise lines don't follow suit, but I am quite sure that they'll be watching Carnival do this. But yeah, sorry, over to Amy.
Yeah, Amy, what are your thoughts? Because and I'm maybe curious to pick up a little bit as well on what you think in terms of the redemption side of things, like from a dollar figure as well, like that reward side.
Yeah. So before we go too far into this, there's a couple of points I want to make. So firstly, I'm excited to be in the chat with you guys, because obviously I'm the Carnival lover. You guys are not. So I think it's good, though, that we can all kind of come together and have a constructive conversation about this from a Carnival cruiser and some non-Carnival cruisers. And I think it's a good way to have that conversation. There's never any judgment between us. We all have different taste and opinions, and I think that's a great thing. And so that's where I think this chat is really good. Now, one thing you've got to think about, first of all, does status matter to you? And some people it does, some people it doesn't. For us, we are currently gold status. So we don't get priority boarding. We don't get our laundry done for us, that sort of stuff. It doesn't really matter to us. I mean, we could purchase faster to the fund if we want those things. But we have never really had any issues with slow embarkation or disembarkation. We always take our time getting off the ship, but getting on, we usually get on within 15 minutes. So it's never really an issue, the embarkation thing for us. I think the points thing, you are actually getting benefit out of that, something that you didn't previously have. So now you are able to redeem, or you are able to earn points. Now it is based on how much money you spend, but then you can redeem it on your cruises. So you can get a discount on your cruises, we can get drinks, we can get all sorts of stuff. So I will just point out that that was not there in the first place. So there is that benefit to it. But where it really hurts, and this is, you know, I spoke about it on my channel, I spoke about it on social media. I got some interesting comments in response to that. But the thing is, it's the 2-year thing that hurts, because now it's not about how much time and loyalty that you're putting into this company anymore. Now it has become about how much money can you give in a short period of time to this company. And that's where it's really, really rubbed people the wrong way. That's where it's really upset people. And I understand that. Some people are worried about losing their status because they've earned their status. But for me, I don't care about the status as much, but it's just more about, okay, so you're kind of setting this divide now between the people who have a lot of money to spend and people like us who have 2 kids that we also have to pay for every trip that we go on. We have to fly to get there. We have to spend mega bucks to try to get anywhere near the status where we would actually, you know, get this priority boarding and all that kind of stuff. So for us, it's just like, well, that's never going to happen. So now we've just disregarded that. But at the end of the day, for us, it's the overall experience. And for us, Carnival's still, you know, the right price for us, and it's still got the right things for our family. So we're not going to change cruising Carnival because of that. But I do understand why the super loyal people who have earned their status are now upset that that's been taken away from them. So I see both sides of things.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a couple of chat comments coming up, so I'll just pull them up on the screen quickly, and some of them are a bit long, so they cover you a little bit, Amy. Sorry, but you know, it's head up.
There you go.
So Curly Aussie says it's morphed into a casino loyalty program. Casinos are the bread and butter. Even Royal is expanding casino size on existing ships where possible. You know, Veronica says here that, you know, as a regular casino player, it seems very similar to the current casino rewards, and that's probably an interesting thing. That dollar spend, that casino spend orientation, because casino rewards, or the dollars you spend in the casino, will now create extra stars and extra redemption points in this program. Whereas, like, yeah, Royal have the 2 programs. They've got Crown and Anchor, and then they've got the casino, and they're both separate and kind of distinct in what they offer. And if you stack both, that can actually be quite good, but you don't have to go to the casino either.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely not gamblers, but I do think that this new rewards program is based around trying to get people spending more money on board, which at the end of the day, they're a business. I understand that. And COVID has completely changed cruising it's all become about money. And it's not just Carnival. There's other cruise lines that have a lot more additional charges now. The overall cost of cruising has gone up. So all these companies are trying to claw back all that money that they've lost during COVID.
It's very true. And if you look at the numbers, I think Carnival Corporation at the end of May this year was about $28 billion in debt. That's a lot of money. So they are making money. They have a good revenue stream coming in, but they're paying back a lot of debt. So all of these companies, whatever they are, they're always thinking about profit and how they can manufacture profit. And onboard expenditure is one of the biggest ways that cruise lines can maximize their profit. So the fare that you pay is one thing, and how much you spend on board for them is probably even more important. And casino spend as a topic is a big one. And I think a lot of these cruise lines, and I noticed it on Carnival in particular, one of the biggest things that I picked up from Pacific Adventure to Carnival Adventure in the changeover was just how much of a casino focus there was when it became a Carnival product. And that one, as I had sailed on Carnival Luminosa, but I hadn't sailed on Carnival Splendor. So maybe there's a similarity with the casino focus, but I hadn't picked it up until I could compare back-to-back Pacific Adventure and Carnival Adventure. And so it's quite obvious that the big thing here is getting people to spend on board and in the casino in particular. I know that the Players Club is very popular. I had never seen a casino so busy than when I went on the 3 or 4 day Carnival Adventure cruise to Moreton Island. I don't think I'd ever seen a casino that busy. I was shocked. And good on you. If you enjoy that, go for it. It's not really my thing. I'd rather be at a bar somewhere spending my money there. But anyway, the thing is that any move that cruise lines make, whatever it is, it will always be to make money. Royal Caribbean Group, they are one of the most valuable travel companies in the world. So if you actually look at where they are in terms of value, they obliterate Carnival Corporation. They've got so much money and they know what they're doing. They have perfectly formulated how to get money out of people when they're on board their ships, and they're paying more than ever. When people go on board a Royal Caribbean ship or any cruise ship, you're paying more than you ever are and have been. And as Amy said, cruising has changed so much after COVID and since COVID, and that's in one of the ways that it's happened. And the way that they can do that, by the way, is that because so many more new to cruise are cruising. So these people don't have a recollection of what cruising was like prior. And that's a big difference.
And I actually think you made a really good point, Adrian, in your video about Royal and the changes that they made when they were getting people, jumping into those top tiers, and then they were going into those free drinks times.
Yeah.
So they had to pull back. So, they found a way to pull that back so they weren't overcapitalized in that area. And they just chose a different system of doing drink cards instead of the open bar.
Yeah,
so, they obviously have the same issue, and
they just managed it differently, I think. And also they added value last year by, and again, Adrian, you touched on this in your video, the change last year that the Royal Caribbean Group made in terms of the status matching within the group.
Yep.
So that adds value, because if you're a diamond or a diamond plus, or going up in the tiers there with the Crown and Anchor Society, and you can get a status match over to a Silver Seas cruise or a Celebrity cruise, you're potentially going to just shift passengers into those more premium brands of yours anyway.
Yeah, exactly right. It's sort of keeping everyone in the family.
Yeah, that's it. But giving them a reward and a benefit without actually dissing the loyalty. So I think that's a really cool thing. Well, let's just grab a couple of quick comments.
Quite a few in here. So.
Firstly, a little shout out from Rowan to you, Adrian. They love your videos, especially
Rowan.
during Alfred. So Rowan and Noni were actually on Quantum, stuck in Umea during Alfred.
They were indeed.
So they got caught up in all those delays. So while you were feverishly putting information out there, it would have been very helpful for them.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Sean from Down Under Cruises asks question, do we think that the rewards program will bring the concept of gratuities to Aussie cruising?
No. No, I think there's a big reason for that. I think it's just mostly because we have to do the pricing here with fair trading. You pretty much have to have single pricing. So I think gratuities won't really ever be a thing here like they used to be.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. My question around this, and I'll throw this out, I've already put it on social media the other day, and I know somebody shared a caption because they'd asked the question of Carnival on their page, but the could we see a switch to USD currency on board?
I don't think we will, because we've got quite a few Carnival ships year round here. I don't think they would make that move. I think that would really like if they're trying to absolutely run everybody off, that would be the final straw, I think, because one of the things that we personally love about Carnival, we are budget cruisers. We pay a budget price for our cruises, and then we have a budget when we're on board. We don't have a whole heap of money to spend when we're on board. So for us, even on Celebrity, like it was a massive shock of just trying to calculate. We only did a 3-day Celebrity cruise, so we kind of knew that we were able to not buy too many things. But having that conversion was a big kind of shock to the system for us. And I know if, the fact that we couldn't even load cash, because on Disney and on Virgin, that's what we did. We loaded cash. So then that way we knew how much money we had to spend. But yeah, I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah, see, I've got a bit of a thought though, that to be honest, I can see plenty of arguments with passengers around, the conversion rate was this, not that, and you missed this and you didn't spend that, and I can see it becoming a bit of a headache. But the other thing that I picked up really early on, and I'm just going to, if I can, I'll pull this screen up just quickly. Where are we? So just if you have a look here, this is the Australian website. So you see up here, it's the .com.au website, and on here as well is where they're talking about the $1 USD.
Yeah.
What the reason I raise this is, this is the regionalized page. This isn't the global page for the program, and so that's where I kind of go, oh, okay.
I think they're just being specific in that this is US dollars, so we need to factor that in with our points and our stars. I don't know. I'm keen to know what Adrian thinks.
Well, the terms and conditions on that page actually state that they will be converting whatever your spend is into US dollars for the purpose of stars and reward points. So I wouldn't read too much into the fact that the page says US dollars. I think that they're from the perspective of the rewards program, they're simplifying it on their end so that it's US dollars specifically. So if your cruise here is 5,000 Australian dollars, you would effectively end up with maybe 2,500, 2,800 points. Well, times 3 points per dollar. But you know what I mean. So I think they've covered that in their terms and conditions in that case. So I don't know that I would read too much into that specifically. However, your question about whether they would change to US dollars on board, I don't know. I would never say never, but I would imagine probably not. And if it would happen, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. What we probably have to look at is the fact that we really only have 2 cruise lines that offer Australian dollars on board religiously, and that's now Carnival, and it used to be P&O, and Princess, and that's it. Holland America comes with US dollars, which is another Carnival Corporation cruise line, and pretty much everything else does as well. Obviously, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, they all have US dollars on board. Now, What we would need to look to in the future soon, is if Royal Caribbean do come here year round, which is part of their plan eventually. When, we don't know. What they do with that. Now, Royal Caribbean's an interesting one because they've got a cockiness about them because they can. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they did not shift to an Australian dollar program on board. But that would be an indication as to how Carnival would one day maybe respond. If Royal Caribbean changed to AUD, there's no way that Carnival would give that up. But if Royal Caribbean came here year round and persisted with US dollars, I don't know. I wouldn't be 100% surprised if Carnival kind of took that away as well one day, but it's just too early to tell.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, I think that could be the Royal could be the trigger for Carnival to do something. The Technology Views says here, they think the only scenario where the USD plays out would be if other ships rotate into Australia. And look, that is inevitable at some point in time. Carnival will change the ships in Australia. When, we don't know at the moment, but yeah. So let's dive into this question. So Peter has raised this comment, Peter Lowbridge, and a couple of others have in the chat as well. The problem is the amount of platinum and diamonds that don't spend money on board, and once they get to that status, they just accept the sort of the freebies. What are your thoughts there? I mean, could they have? I guess we've probably discussed this and touched on this already, but do you think there's a better way they could have maybe handled this?
Yeah, I think it was too much of a change.
Jump in at some point.
I do think it was too much of a change. And like I said, it's just too much of a kick in the guts to all those people who have earned their status over time. And that's what we would be. We would be people who earn our status over time. We're not going to be people who spend lavish amounts of money to try to get status, because we just can't afford that. We've got a mortgage, we've got a family, we both work full time, the kids go to school. Like, that's just not going to happen for us. So for us, we were looking at, like, actually end of next year, I was supposed to be coming platinum. So I miss it by one cruise, which, I mean, it sucks, but at the end of the day, the only thing I was really looking forward to was someone doing washing for me. And especially if we go on the site where there is no self-service laundry. And for a family of 4, even on like a week-long cruise, we go through a lot of washing. And I kind of need that option to be able to wash some clothes. And when you see the price that they charge to wash one t-shirt or one dress, and then you factor in that there's 4 of us, we're all wearing socks, we're all wearing underwear, we're all wearing clothes, that's a lot. So for me, that's what I was looking forward to, which obviously that's not going to be a thing for us now. So I'm just going to find other savvy ways of doing it. But I guess actually having the label of being platinum or diamond, like the label for me doesn't matter as much. It's just more about, I was looking forward to earning those perks. That's all.
Yeah.
So
And for
Adrian, you kind of touched on, the point, I guess, of the newer, so many new cruises since COVID, and they're not necessarily used to all this loyalty stuff anyway. So do you think they could have maybe just grandfathered and introduced this new program and this new status for, say, everyone in the who's become a VIFP member in the last couple of years? Or like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking about this morning, actually. If there was a way to say you've achieved platinum or diamond, which means you've been loyal to us, is there a way that they could, you need to cruise with us? If they said you need to cruise with us once every 12 months, once every 6 months, like, we need something from you in order to kind of keep your status active as to what you've achieved. It's almost like a show of good faith, to say, we know that you've spent money with us over the years, you've been loyal to us to build this, but likewise, as a company, we don't want you to disappear for 3 years and then come back and go, oh, I'm still Diamonds. Like, I can kind of get that. So yeah, what if there was a way that they could keep some people in that were willing to continue to cruise
This is exactly
with
what
the
I
line?
thought.
Oh,
Is the
okay,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Adrian. I've been thinking about this a lot and thinking there should have been some kind of tier, like go from your maybe start at gold, diamond, platinum, and this, if you're at this tier now, this is your rewards going for, you know, into the future. That's what I think would have been fantastic to show those people and thank them for their loyalty. We're going to give you something a little bit extra, but make sure you keep cruising with us. So yeah, exactly what you said is right on.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. As long as you're showing that you're still there for the company, like you said, that you don't disappear for 5 years and come back and still expect your diamond status. I think that's a fair point. But you know, things happen in life, medical issues, life issues. You know, I recently was without a job for a while, and so we're trying to claw our way back out of that one now. So, you know, stuff like that happens. That's life.
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Like even a lot of the airline rewards programs, which we made reference to as a similar way that this is going, and Christine Duffy likes to brag about how this is so similar and how great it is because it's so similar. They have those like pregnancy pauses and things like that built in, where you can pause your status for 12 months or so so being able to do things like that when things go, I think they could have definitely built
a bit like a gym membership, hey Amy?
Well, look, I think a pregnancy thing is a pretty legitimate thing because you can't cruise. You literally cannot cruise past a certain point being pregnant. Right. And then you're not allowed to bring an infant under the age of 6 months onto the ship as well. That's another point. Like that's going to inhibit your ability to earn points and stars as well. So, I know Christine Duffy was saying, oh, but then you can get the credit card and you can earn points while you're not even on the ship. Well, guess what? We can't. No. We can't because you got to be a resident. And even then, like they're obviously getting some sort of good kickbacks off this credit card if they're trying to push people to do that because the fees are pretty high on it as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I do think they haven't quite got it right. Honestly, I don't think they're going to change it, though. Oh, my God.
Hilarious.
That one's for you, Amy. Cruising Tea Lady's comments here as well to you, Amy, that you represent a very important demographic, the family cruisers, and you should have the same chance to move through the loyalty program as everyone else. And that's true. I mean, and like we travel a lot with Noah with our cruising, and we've done the same with our other kids, and it's an important thing. And the ironic thing is you're building brand loyalty with those kids too, so it's generations of brand loyalty.
And we're spending more money. Like we've got 4 people in a cabin rather than 2 people in a cabin. We're paying for all those people. And every time we walk past Cherry on Top, we are going and spending money. Like those kids know how to spend our money. They take us into, why is my brain not working? Into the games arcade, and they spend our money there as well. So we are spending a lot of money, but the thing is, it's not going necessarily to us because there's 4 of us. So Alira is accumulating points and status when, she's 5 years old.
Yeah,
so
well, this is
we're the ones spending the money.
This is the interesting thing. This like how the redemption points are going to be earned in a family situation, because if the kids are all got their memberships as well, who and mum and dad are actually paying the bill, but the kids are earning the redemption points. Can the redemption points then be pooled within a family? There's still so many questions.
Isn't it based
on? Yes, I think that was
towards her cruise and his portion of the cruise, but it does get very complicated. Like, how do you even do that? Redeem that towards the.
Yeah, what were
I
you
think that
going
was
to
one
say?
of. That was one of the topics that I think I had seen John Hield refer to, and I think Lee, the cruise director on Facebook,
Yep.
works for Carnival, and I think that was one of the topics that they said was still being clarified in head office. But if they want to start looking at, and they have admitted, and Christine Duffy has admitted that this is very much like an airline loyalty program, then don't just cherry pick the parts that make sense for your business. Like, provide people with all of the benefits of that. And what I mean when I say that is that most airline loyalty programs allow family pooling of points. So therefore you can, if you share a household with the same people, you can pool those same points for whatever purpose to one person, or also family transfers. So if Carnival's really going to go down this path, then they need to be able to supply people with the tools that can help them take advantage of the program that they're creating, because they're not reinventing the wheel. They're just applying this format to a different industry. So yeah, I think they're going to have some things to clarify over the next 12 months, or less than 12 months now.
So question, does Platinum and Diamond have a Carnival lounge now at the terminal that they get to enjoy while they're waiting on their cruise?
How good is that of an
That's
idea?
right. By rights, they should. Yeah.
But
And
again,
I mean,
we probably.
But it's all about getting on early, so you don't want to be hanging in the lounge.
That's true.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the logistics issues though here in Australia trying to do that, where there's not really a home base for any one cruise? I mean,
yeah,
sure, Carnival have got the the booking rights, for the first 15 years at Bict and stuff, but
they can build one here in Melbourne. Send us some ships.
they should.
What is this, Adrian? Like, Amy keeps talking about this place called Melbourne. Apparently, I just don't know, right?
No, we don't know. The cruise lines don't know.
Somewhere it's really cold.
Yeah, all I remember is boarding the Virgin Maiden cruise with my
that
group
was fun
and
for you.
being soaked to the bone in the wind in summer with like what felt like 10-degree winds coming up the
hailing today. I was sitting in here doing people doing phone interviews and it was hailing down so hard. The trampoline's just outside the window here. It was just white from all the hail. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
There you go, Rowan.
Rowan's favorite to represent. So next sort of question or topic, I guess, is like, do we think that, because obviously now the cruise lines shape this a little bit around costs. There's so many people now, it's difficult to manage now, giving out these freebies to so many people, it's hitting the bottom line. But we're now going to move to a model instead where, yes, there's the status issue, but there's also every time you spend $1, you're getting points, which you can then redeem for pretty much anything on board, is what they're leading us to believe at the moment. Cruise credit, shore excursions, dining experiences, whatever. Do we think that we're going to see outside of what we're already seeing in terms of price increases? Do you think we'll see this lead to maybe a bit of a price increase from Carnival?
I hope not. I can barely afford it as it is.
Yeah. I actually I think that would be the worst move on their behalf, because if they're wanting people to spend money on board, so keep the cruises a little bit cheaper, and then encourage, like, we all see the upsell when we're on board. It's specialty dining, it's spa, it's like, but then when you're in the spa, it's the creams and the hair washes and whatever else it may be. I think that would be the worst move for them if they actually upped the prices as well, because then people won't have that money to spend on board.
my other question, right? So to get to diamond status, based off the Australian dollars, I worked out it was like 51,000 something over a 2-year period. So if someone's got that much money to spend on a cruise, they're going on Seabourn, they're going on Azamara, they're going on Oceania, they're not going necessarily on Carnival. So I don't understand why they're trying to offer that to those type of people if they're trying to get people to spend that much money. But let's be realistic, most Carnival spenders or Carnival cruisers don't have that sort of money.
But I guess it's always this is just another point that I've picked up out of this, is that you've got first time cruisers, second time cruisers who are literally going to cruise once every 3 years, something like that. But to have a rewards program, because they're not going to go on and get their status up to diamond and platinum, that the rewards program probably benefits them.
As long
as people,
as long as they cruise once every 3 years to keep their account active. So you do lose. I was reading on the terms and conditions. You have to keep your points, your redemption points. You do have to have an active account within a 3-year period, not a 2-year period. So the status points disappear. The status stars disappear after the 2 years, but the points are 3 years.
There's probably a period. A group of people that actually don't care about stars and levels.
No.
It's just about like, oh, I've spent $1,000, so I get these rewards, and they just cruise every now and then. So that is where I think some people will benefit from this. So obviously we've got completely different avenues on this one.
Be us now, like we're not even going to look at the stars because realistically we are so far from having any sort of status, and the gold status doesn't really have many perks at all. Don't even get my pins anymore that I made.
No more pins.
So I don't know. So to us, the status thing's just irrelevant now. So we're going to redeem our points and try to get a discount on our cruises or whatever.
But so this raises an interesting question, Amy. You mentioned the pins, and again, we come back to that. They talk about the cost and the logistics of delivering these programs. I mean, you see, we've been on cruises and people have said, "Hey, do you want our pin?" Like, we don't want. We'll give you our pin. We've been. You see on the Facebook groups, people who are with Royal Caribbean, and they get the diamond blocks when they get to the certain statuses. People, and I mean, I look at those things and think they look great, but they give those things away. So again, does this raise the question that really they probably could have increased the profitability or reduced the cost of these programs without?
I'll just mention, if people don't want the pins, you do have to go and collect the pins. So if you don't want the pins, you don't have to collect the pins.
Get the pin.
So they're spending the money on the pins, but what's one of those pins cost compared to what we're spending for and on the cruise? But there's a lot of people who might just collect one a year and then not bother getting the rest, or they just don't collect them because they don't care. I don't know. I think it's more the gesture, and I think that's what Carnival are missing. They're missing the appreciation to all of their loyal customers who have spent a lot of time and a lot of money on their cruise lines. And it's like, what is the priority boarding? What is the laundry? What's that actually really costing them? It's barely costing them anything really at the end of the day. And they had so many loyal diamond and platinum people who come regularly, who now they're just like, well, I'm done with Carnival. So now they're missing out on that altogether. But I guess the other side of that, probably that Carnival are thinking, we're filling out all our ships at the moment anyway. Cruise demand is through the roof anyway. So we're still going to fill the ship. So what does it really matter? But it's more about, I don't know, I just get really annoyed, like everything everyone's just becoming very selfish these days. And it's all about what can you do for me, and there's not much give back. And I think that's what's hurting these people. They're like, hey, for 30 years I've given you my business, and you're saying now I need to spend this much money with you to kind of be relevant to you, or to be of any sort of special consideration to you. And I think that's where these big companies are really pissing people off, because yes, they're a company, yes, they need to make money, but you know what, where are they making that money from? They're making it from the consumer. So if they're driving away those consumers, that's, you know, I think that's where a lot of businesses they miss that point, that these are the people making all that money for you. So you have to give back at some stage.
So yeah, look, I mean, there's always interesting conversations that I think can be had around the social license to operate. You know, we see cruise lines do that by investing in, you know, ocean plastic programs and all that sort of thing, but also just in terms of, you know, the social license to carry me and my family on board. Do you, Adrian, do you think though, there's a lot of noise online, and I want to get to some of that, you know, sort of talking about some of that commentary and the impacts of that in a moment. But do you really think that there is, particularly in a market like Australia, I guess, going to be a big shift? People are going to turn around now and go, oh, I'm not cruising with you, Carnival, I'm going to Royal, or, you know, Norwegian or MSC if they ever came, or...
It's hard to say, because Australia is such an interesting market that we're so small and we don't really have much in the way of choice. So people here throughout the winter don't have an alternative. If you want to cruise, it's now, especially with Carnival. So it's very difficult to turn your back towards that, even if you feel like you want to. I was looking at some comments today on my Facebook page from people that were sharing their opinion of the new Carnival experience here, and many that hadn't cruised with Carnival or P&O said that they would never, but because it's winter and they feel like they want to go on a cruise, they are. So I think that Australia specifically is a very sort of microclimate situation that just, it sort of allows cruise lines to get away with, and businesses in general, to get away with things that they probably can't do overseas to the same degree that they can here, because we're a bit of a captive audience. But what I just also want to say, back to sort of Amy's point about loyalty, and I think if anything, this is an excuse and a reason for everyone who loves cruising to do their best to try other things. So try other cruise lines, give other things a shot. You may, you know, have heard a bad thing about this one or that one. Plenty of people have heard really bad things about Carnival Adventure and Encounter. And as I was reading today on Facebook on my page, people have really enjoyed their cruises with both ships. You know, they're not great in terms of everything. They're not perfect, but this is an excuse for you to try something different. So if you have been locked into that way of thinking that maybe Carnival is your comfort cruise line or the thing that you like most, give something else a whirl, try something else. Pricing has gone up, as you know, so you might have thought that Carnival was cheaper, and they probably were in the past, and there are still deals to be had. But in many cases, I don't think the cost differential is so considerable that you would be swayed from trying another product like maybe Royal Caribbean. Seemingly Celebrity is a lot more expensive, as we know. But yeah, but you know, try other things. The world's small. Give it, try other things. Yeah,
you'll be amazed. We actually did Celebrity because we got a great price on it. So the thing is, like, yes, we love Carnival, but we've also tried Disney, we've tried Virgin, we've tried Celebrity, we've tried Princess, we did P&O as well. So we're not loyal to Carnival, even though I love Carnival. But I will say, like, even on some of these premium cruise lines that I know you guys love, I still prefer the Carnival experience, but that's based on what I like. And what we all like is different. And that's where it really kind of, going back to like other things, like when people are so harsh and so strong with their opinion to where they're telling people never, ever go on that cruise because of that, because they didn't like it. Who's to say that the next person's not going to like it? And I think that's where it is important, as you said, Adrian, people do try different cruise lines.
Yeah.
And they do, you got to go in with an open mind and you got to experience it for yourself, because you never know until you try.
Yeah. I just want to bring up a comment here from Amy, because this is look, we see this, I guess, ourselves. We put ourselves out there a lot, and Amy, you and I were sharing an interesting, stupidly interesting
a comment I got on Facebook earlier.
Laughable comment earlier today. But the social media backlash about this, and look, John Heald puts himself out there as the brand ambassador. He kind of did the really, the interview where, they'd basically cut up Christine Duffy reading a media statement and then, answering these questions. Like it clearly wasn't an interview, or not a live one anyway, when they made the announcements. I mean, that was a dick move on Carnival's part, I thought. I did, whoops. But like, what do you make of that, like Carnival's sort of, I guess, the corporate reaction, but also the social media reaction around this? I don't know, Adrian, you've had some strong opinions on social media in recent times. So
I think everyone just needs to calm down a little bit. We're talking about cruising. We're talking about holidays. We're talking about, leisure time. And I understand being passionate about stuff. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel about it, as you guys do. I'm wearing a jumper. I understand passion, but I think that we need to be measured in our approach. And when I see people leaving negative comments and things like that are, antagonistic to people like John Heald and yourselves and sometimes myself, for me, I'm not really so bothered by it anymore. But I do find that it speaks more about the person making the comment, and I think everyone just needs to take a seat.
And like you said, at the end of the day, we are fortunate enough. Like I've spoken about how we're on a budget. We're budget cruisers. We don't have a whole lot of money to spend, but we are able to cruise, and we do it pretty frequently, really. So we are extremely fortunate. I mean, there's other countries where they can't even put food on the table. We're talking about cruising where we've got a full buffet, gourmet or not, we've got plenty of food available. At the end of the day, this is still a luxury. And at the end of the day, you're threatening John Heald's family because Carnival, which he's only the spokesperson, because Carnival have made changes from their head office, and he's just the ambassador. He's the messenger. That's not okay. You're like, what sort of human being are you that your diamond status is now at risk, and so you're going to go and threaten someone's daughter or wife? Like, what sort of human being does that? That's disgusting.
I think Sean sums it up well. Takes all types to make the world, right?
Certainly does.
But look, just quickly, I just want to pick up on this comment here from Travelius Aussie, because we're global tonight.
Nice one.
I love New Orleans. Love New Orleans. Hope to get back there one day.
How do you say it?
Travel, yes, we see.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
There you go. Adrian's got it.
Naomi says it's good that people are speaking up. If they don't speak up, companies won't know what we think.
You can speak up, but you don't have to be threatening, and it's not that serious. Like, speak up, express your opinion. That's great. That's fine. We're all allowed to do that. And there's also been a bit of talk about so the cruise content creators being shut down and not being able to express opinion. We can express opinion. No one's going to be able to stop us, but it's just a matter of how we go about it. And as long as we are doing it in a fair way, that 100%. It's, I like to make it pretty clear that this is my opinion. But yeah, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do things, but we're allowed to express our opinion as long as we're not slandering for no reason. There has to be.
And I think that's it. When all of us are report, like if we're cruising, we are literally sharing our experience.
Mhm.
And I think we all do that in our videos. We share, hey, this is what I did today. This is how I experienced today. When we're reporting, for loosely using that term, or providing updates, in particular you, Adrian, because you do this so well and so regularly, and we're all in awe of the amount of content you pump out. But you do it in such a way that you're very factual, and I think that's what a lot of people appreciate about what you do. And I know a lot of us try to model ourselves in that way as well. You've set a good example for sort of the cruise content community in Australia.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I agree. I think that being factual and objective is being factual and objective is the key, right? Like that's what we need to do. And just because I think something is, from my opinion or my perspective, doesn't mean that you will, doesn't mean that someone else will. Even Michael and I have arguments about this because he's a little bit more passionate about, nah, I hate that. I don't like it. It is what it is. And I think, yeah, you're allowed to think that. You're allowed to not like something. But I think the way that you frame things in this space has to allow other people to have their opinion as well. And their, because we won't always line up on that. And that's fine. It's actually really good. And I think that goes back to the other creator in this space that likes to poke fun at, not poke fun, but target Carnival in particular lately. So, if you provide your opinion and your experience at the expense of others, then that's the wrong way to do it. So
Correct.
And I think that's the thing, we do, generally speaking, I think, the Aussie cruise content community, when they have a negative experience, it's provided with context as well. And I think that's really important if we're sort of showing that, demonstrating that, reporting on it.
We disagree.
You and I even disagree, but we will explain why. We will show why. We won't just show a zoomed in image of a particular item and go, "This is the whole cruise is ruined." Amy, Pete, I know I saw he ducked in there with you, but I think he's just there in the shadows. He says, "Take our
sorry, babe.
Take our money. Just give us a Melbourne ship again." See, look. Yeah, I mean, even seasonally, I get it. Like, even seasonally, Melbourne needs to have something for a little bit of the year. I think the Virgin experiment, I have not. No one's been able to convince me Virgin was the right place. Melbourne was the right place for Virgin to go.
They just did it wrong. They did it wrong.
Was stupid. Like
by going to Melbourne.
They did it wrong by going to Melbourne. Yes. And Amy, look, the reality is that what they're trying to do in terms of tropics and hammocks on every deck and all that, that's just, Melbourne's not the climate.
I'll wipe your tears.
Hey, in summer, it's fine.
I was there in summer.
No, we had perfect weather on our Virgin cruise. It was absolutely perfect. You know where they messed up? They took us down to Burnie in Tassie, like on a 2-day cruise. Who wants to get off at Burnie in Tassie on a 2-day cruise? We got one full day on the ship. We don't want it to be a short day. We want to be on the ship.
Where else were they going to go?
We want our Scarlet night. It's not about they could have gone to nowhere. Like the ships do out of Sydney and Brisbane all the time. They just go out to nowhere and come back.
Yeah, let's go and bounce around in the Bass Strait for a couple of days.
Hey.
Bounce being the operative word.
Sailing too.
Bouncing around is probably appropriate for Virgin Cruise Line.
Our worst weather sailings have all been out of Sydney or Brisbane. I'm just saying.
We still have ships.
Yeah, we do. All right, guys. Look, it has been a wonderful chat with you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I am going to wrap up because it is a bit of a tradition, as we know. Every live stream, I do like to ask a question of Deb. But maybe Amy, I'll throw this one to you. See if I can get a reaction to you this time.
Wow.
I'm just wondering, Amy, if you know what a cruise ship's favourite news program is.
Oh, God. I don't know if I want to know the answer. What is it, Matt?
It's a current affair.
That's terrible.
It is. Thanks, Adrian.
That was horrible.
Even Alira's like, what?
Yeah.
All right, look, that is the joke for the week, and it's so bad apparently that I have to.
It needs to go.
I need to go. I
You
need
need
to
to
go hang
go.
my head in shame for a little while. Guys, thank you very much for joining tonight. It's been to everyone who's joined us in the live chat as well. Thank you. As you can see, there is a variety of different opinions, and yes, we all acknowledge the handling of the long-term loyalty has been something that we all agree Carnival did not hit the mark on. It will be very interesting to watch this and see if they do make any adjustments in that regard. But there are pros and cons to this program in terms of the status, but I'm not so sure about that personally myself, but definitely I think that rewards program does open up for some opportunity there.
But no, thanks, Adrian. Thanks, Amy.
Did you guys
Thanks
have
for
any
having
closing
me.
comments? Anything you wanted to add to close out?
Amy?
No, I don't think so. I appreciate it was good to kind of get all three of our different opinions out there, especially since we already have different opinions of Carnival at the first time in the first place. It's good to kind of I think we're all pretty much on the same page with this new rewards program. No matter your opinion on Carnival, I think we're all pretty on the same page about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
It's
Adrian.
No, that's all good. Thank you very much for having me. It was a good chat, and yeah, look forward to another time soon. Bye,
Right.
Lyra.
See you, Lyra, and thank you again, everyone, for joining.
Water, isn't she?
We will continue to watch this space. Keep an eye on our channels. Don't forget to please hit the like button on this video, and if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to all of our channels and Facebooks and Instagrams, because we will be posting updates as Carnival release them in the lead up to June 2026 when the Carnival Rewards program kicks in. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Thank you.